Hello?
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 Hello, everybody. Welcome to Curiosity Cove. My name is Veda.
And I'm your trusty captain here, and today we're talking about
Pisces! Pew,
Pisces!
pew, pew,
I also
pew.
realized I forgot to switch over the PNG.
Do you want to do that? You want to keep it? I was just about to say you have her up. She's adorable.
No, I want to keep it back to how we've been doing.
Our
Just 'cause I don't.
chillaxin.
Yeah, I want to keep it the cozy. But y'all got a little sneak peek. Me and Veda worked on this. I gave it a quick little like sketch, and Veda did all the rest. It was absolutely amazing.
Lots of coloring.
Yeah, it was just so pretty. I love her.
Um,
How's your day going today, Veda? How's it going?
so we had similar oopsies last night, so I'm actually
Oh.
dying. I'm like, I'm
Oh.
like awake, but I'm asleep, but I'm dead, but I'm alive, you know?
Yeah, I'm asleep.
I'm asleep, but I'm dead. For sure. No, it was a long day. Work was fine, but like it's dreary out and it's like
Yeah.
it's stuffy with the weather
Yeah.
changing so much that like it was a rough one, but it's better now. I get to be with you for the next hour plus.
Oh my god.
How about
I
you?
also agree. I feel like the up and down of the temperature has been really fucking me up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I've kind of gotten like headaches for the past couple days. Not
Same.
bad, but enough where I'm like, why?
Do
Like, why are you
you
like this?
do you suffer from sinuses?
Yeah.
Have yours been
Some
going
awful
nuts?
too.
Yeah, it's allergies and sinuses have been killing me with the way
My
the weather
allergies
has
haven't
been.
kicked in yet, but I definitely noticed the sinus
Knock on
pressure
wood
for
right
sure.
now.
I will.
Yeah, but then also I learned a couple things today, and one of them I need to talk to you about because I just like I've been holding this in and I wanted okay, I'm going to ask it to you first. Cuz
Yeah.
I've been a really big fan of words lately, right?
Okay.
And so I learned a couple words today, and it inspired something in me, which I'll get to in a second. But
Yeah.
first, did you know that there's a word for when you steal the fruit off of somebody's fruit tree?
Like, is it that you can yell out and that's what you're calling them?
Like,
Or the
no,
act of
it's
doing
like the
so?
act of doing so. There's actually a
No!
word for it. Yeah.
What is it?
Scrumping.
You're
You're
scrumping?
scrumping. It's like
So,
a.
like, I'm scrumping your apples?
Yeah.
Like,
Like when you, like, so when you take apples off of somebody's apple tree in their yard, you're scrumping. You're scrumping the apples. Isn't that
interesting.
a
I didn't.
stupid word? I love
I
dumb
like it
words.
though. I wonder, does it apply for like bushes too?
I
Like, could you
wonder, like
scrump
berry
like
bushes?
strawberries?
Can you
Yeah.
scrump berries?
You might be saying
It's just
scrump. It makes me think of Grump from Lilo and
yeah,
Stitch.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just think it's such a funny little word, scrumping.
It is. It's kind of cute though.
But it did inspire me. So from this day forward, this was also approved by Cap. I'm not just doing this on my own volition.
Of course, of course.
We are going to have like cocktail terms, or as Cap has been calling them, words with Vadu,
Words
where
with Vadoom.
where we're gonna learn a new word together every week. So
I'm
uh
excited.
I
This is
know.
exciting.
I love expanding my vocabulary too. So like this was I had this idea on the way home, like on the drive home. I was just like, "Oh fuck, we could do words." And like that
Yeah.
itself sounds silly, but like what I meant was like we can like learn words together. Um
Yeah.
I think it'll help me because reading it out and teaching other people always somehow helps me memorize things.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
teaching
yeah, yeah.
others too to like learn it that way.
So, I'm gonna give us our first word, and you let me know if you know what the word means, because then I'll have you explain it.
Okay,
But for
got you.
this week, it is vitriolic.
Vitriolic?
Yeah.
Um, I feel like something to do with life. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm getting like
Okay.
vitri, like I'm going with the word breakdown,
Yeah, yeah.
but
The what is it?
like
Etymology of the word.
yeah. So I think it has to do something with life, but I don't know the term.
Okay. So it actually is an old term, or it's
Oh.
based off an old term, vitriol, which used to be referred, like it was used to refer to sulfates. But over
Interesting.
time, it kind of turned into this like slang word, and it kept its kind of like corrosive connotation, right? And so
Ooh,
now it's
okay.
used to basically describe like a scathing comment or like a nasty comment or action or something. So you would
Ooh.
say like if somebody says something like especially like nasty to somebody, you would be like, "Oh, I mean that was quite a vitriolic remark."
Oh.
Mhm.
So like kind of like in synonymous with like a snide remark in a
Right.
way?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
Or
like
like
making
sounds nastier.
right. It's just like a
Yeah.
fancier way. So like if you're at a cocktail party, right, and somebody
Of
says
course.
something nasty, you can be like, "Wow, that's very vitriolic of you to say in a
Just
place like
hit him
this."
with it. Ooh, I
Yeah,
love
look at that.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Ooh,
yeah, yeah.
I
That
like
was
that one.
I know. I was like looking through it's not like I open up a dictionary and just like flip to a page or anything, but every once in a while like I'll be running through something and I'll see like a big word and I'm like cuz I read a lot. I read a lot of like articles and books and stuff. And
Mm.
so I'll see like a word and I'll be like I don't know what that means and then I'll like look it up and I try to like memorize it so I can use it to impress someone.
Well, you just impressed me, so
Tee. Mission accomplished.
hell yeah.
um, but yeah, vitriolic. So if you ever hear somebody make a nasty comment, hear somebody do something nasty, because it can be used as an action too. Maybe
Mm.
somebody in and of themselves is a very like vitriolic person who like
Ooh.
just does and says nasty things, you know?
Yeah.
You know who's
Interesting.
not vitriolic though? Pisces.
True.
Tee.
They're really not.
Cap,
But
do
we
we know
do
any
have some.
Pisces?
I was about to say, do we know any?
A hundred
I
percent we
think I
do.
see a couple in chat.
I
Well,
know
I'll read them off.
one.
We've got Ashy, we've got Doku. I've got some of my friends. I got Ruin and Guero. We've got Veluxi. We got good old Naoki, Mare, and then it looks like you also added B-Ro and Tank.
Yeah, my two
Yeah.
longtime Pisces friends.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And also Toot Toot me. I got mine
I
in
was
this
gonna
one
say
too.
the star of the show.
Stop.
Do you know a lot about your astrology? Because I know you mentioned when we started these that you know things about astrology, but you aren't like super like knowledgeable in all of them. Are you knowledgeable in yours?
I wouldn't say as much as I'd like to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd know a lot more like as we go down the list cuz I know like some of their traits
Mm-hmm.
and that like some little things about them, but overall I don't know it as in depth as I probably should.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
luckily you have me, and I know way too much about this stuff. So, I'll
Yee.
take you
Like
through the usual, and we'll just we'll teach you about what makes you you today.
I don't want to. Whenever we go through these, and we're like learning about like our signs. I'm like, yup, nope,
Oh, please!
damn
I'm
it,
so
yup,
not excited for next week. Are you kidding? Like, it's so I can almost imagine how you feel because now that we're done with yours, I'm next. Like, or like now that
Yeah.
yours is today, I'm next. And so that makes me like so unbelievably nervous because I'm like, oh great, I have to talk about all my weak points.
Well, I'm a double Aries as well.
Oh, are you Aries rising and moon?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. So I got back to back, baby.
When we get to moon, I have something I need to share with you. Because I had a funny haha while I was like filling this stuff out and like
Yeah.
remembering things.
Hmm.
But getting started. So
Of
each and
course.
every time I always start with the modality of the sign. So there are three modalities. There's cardinal, there are fixed signs, and there are mutable signs.
Ooh.
And these cardinal signs that we've gone over one of them. I can't remember which one we've actually talked about.
I like
Capricorn,
was.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, was the cardinal.
So Capricorn is a cardinal sign which brings in the season, right? So we've officially
Yeah.
completed our first season, meaning Pisces is ushering us out into the next one, and Aries will be ushering us into as another cardinal sign. So these mutable
Oh.
signs like Pisces, they essentially are the bookend of this season. And it actually it relates directly to like the traits that mutable signs typically have, which are they're good with change, they're highly adaptive, they're you know, to an extent, of course, because everyone's different, but sometimes these 4 signs that are mutable, because there's 4 of each, they're referred to as the editors of the zodiac.
Oh.
Yeah. And then your element is water. Ruling planet.
Water sign, water tribe.
Hell yeah, do some water bending. Your ruling planet is Neptune. You're represented by the fish.
The fish.
And then your tarot card, like the tarot card that represents Pisces, is the moon. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the moon, which is such a pretty card, and like it's got like a really nice meaning in my opinion, like whether it's upright or reversed. Because I'm not a huge fan of when tarot cards are like very neutral. I like when they have like
Meaning like
extreme meanings. Like they have, if it's upright, it is like a bunch of positive stuff. If it's reversed, it's like it can be negative, but it depends on the context, right? So for upright, it means things like illusion and intuition and a little bit of like uncertainty or complexity, and it can mean, you know, secrets or like your unconsciousness, like your unconscious being. And then reversed, it means things like fear and deception and anxiety, misinterpretation. But overall, the card itself is a lot of clarity and understanding, which is a big part of what Pisces is clarity and calmness and understanding. That's like Pisces to me are so cool just because y'all are like,
oh my god, you think I'm cool?
Yes, of course. See, like you're the bookend of not only a season but of the zodiac. Like you're the last sign, you're the oldest sign, you know? And so because of that, there's
I'm a boomer.
Yes, zodiac speaking, you are definitely a boomer. Like you're like the boomer. But yeah, like I just think it's so interesting because you guys hold so much like experience and intelligence within your traits just because you are at that bookend. Like you're the sign who's technically seen it all, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I love Pisces. I think Pisces are a very interesting sign, the same way that I think Aquarius and pretty much every other sign is very interesting, but Pisces especially for that like age, you know? Like the way the traits are kind of like age traits. So
I find it really interesting that you said the tarot card is the moon because me and my best friend, we have matching tattoos. She has the Avatar Last Airbender fish and I have the other one, and she chose I forget the water one, the ocean spirit, and I have the moon spirit.
Oh wait, cute.
So I have the moon fish.
Yeah, I mean, as a Pisces, you're probably naturally drawn to like lunar stuff. Yeah.
I thought that was so cute.
That is cute. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's dive in and see how much other stuff you relate to.
Oh God. Okay.
So quick reminder: we've done a couple of these, but I'm always going to state it. In astrology, there's 3 major things that we look at. On the surface, there is your sun sign. That is the day you were born, where your sun was placed. That is going to be a big portion of what represents you as your overall self or your ego. The next thing is the rising sign and the moon sign. So your rising sign is going to be that kind of front that you put up, that kind of first impression that other people get of you. And then your moon is that deep internal self, usually reflecting like your emotions. And so it's that, it's that emotional side of you, and then the rising is that mask that you put on when you're in social situations. Excellent. So we'll start with the sun, as always, the big one. Just like previously, I've put 6 traits down here, and then also how they can read to other people. So I hate doing strengths and weaknesses. I don't like it. I don't think that weaknesses is like something that I love pointing out in people. So I always kind of combine them and put like, this is something people can see as a weakness, but really this is the case. So that's going to be the format we keep. And the
like,
first
some people don't view all weaknesses like as weaknesses.
No, they're
all strengths as strengths.
Yeah, it's strengths and opportunities, right? Like strength and like potential strength, right? So I like putting it that way a lot more than I like saying weaknesses, because I hate when people do these things like, oh well, as a Pisces, like your tendency, like a couple of your weaknesses is you have a tendency to blah blah blah. That's not how it works. We're all human.
Yeah.
Weakness is not a thing that we need to concentrate on. Opportunities, sure.
Opportunities.
Yeah, I like that word a lot.
Cut me some
a lot
slack
more.
here.
Yeah, I think pointing out someone's weakness is a very vitriolic thing to do.
That is also synonymous to not very cash money.
Yeah, not funky, nor is it fresh.
I love that so much.
So I don't even remember when I started saying that shit.
I love it. Whenever your pod's like, that wasn't very funky,
nor was it fresh. Excellent. Okay. Stop avoiding talking about yourself. Okay, let's go.
I'm sorry, I scrolled a little bit and I was like, oh no.
You're okay. I promise I'm only gonna talk good about you, okay?
Yeah,
So
my opportunities.
So the first trait I have here is compassionate, which is like one of what I would say are the 3 staples of Pisces. And the way that this is going to read to a lot of people is clingy, or Pisces have a very like bad rep in some cases of trying too hard, right? So it's something that they see a lot in themselves too. Like it's when you look at like insecurities that the signs have, a big insecurity of Pisces is definitely like, am I trying too hard? Am I giving too much of myself away? And it's just because you guys are extremely compassionate people. You guys are very, very many things. Reserved is not one of those things. If you have somebody that you care about as a Pisces, any tiny little thing that they mention that they are interested in, you are so down to learn it. You're so down to give it a shot, to learn about it. No promises that it's something that you'll like or something that you'll continue to look into, but you will always give it a shot because that's something that somebody you care about cares about, and that's important to you. And so the reason a lot of people see this as clingy is because from the reverse side, it might seem like you are trying to learn every aspect of their life at a very fast pace. But it's just a lot of the time people mistake your curiosity of their interests for clinginess and trying to get close to them. So
that's fair. I can see that.
So a big pointer when people talk about this trait in Pisces is just to like, maybe take a step back every once in a while and make sure that you're not,
suffocating the other person.
Not necessarily suffocating, but just make sure you're not putting too much of yourself into it right away, because you guys are very adaptable, you're very social, you're very like caring and empathetic, and so it makes you want to jump full into relationships, whether that be romantic or platonic. And so sometimes you get carried away, and that's fine. And then the other part of this is you guys also have kick-ass like self-compassion. Like Pisces take really good care of themselves, and sometimes that's like a hygienic thing, sometimes it's like a mental thing, but a lot of Pisces are pretty level-headed when it comes to like accepting the things you've done wrong, learning from your mistakes, or taking care of yourself, making sure you keep healthy, whatever it might be. Lots of compassion running through you, like all the time. And then the next one I have is artistic, which is pretty literally every Pisces that I know in some way or another is so like creative and artistic and like talented in some, and y'all never give yourselves enough credit, and it's so annoying.
Don't call me out like that.
But this is actually fun. I can't wait till next week when you can do this to me. It's gonna be great.
I'm excited.
But yes, okay, so since you guys are the oldest sign, you've kind of, I said it before, but you've kind of seen it all, right? That's the, internally it feels like you have a lot of experience in some aspect when it comes to like creativity. And what I mean by this is that every once in a while, you guys might come off a little snobby. right? It might come off as like, no, I very particularly think that this is the correct opinion, and you get stubborn, and that's fine because you're just keeping to your own belief, right? Other people might see it as snobby because this has it's usually like on a very small scale too. So like I think my biggest example for you would be like your movie criticisms, right? You are very, very picky about your movies. And that's totally fine because honestly a lot of people are. Some people might see that as snobby, other people might see that as you know what you like. Which is very much what it is. So all of these like writers and artists and musicians and dancers and actors, all these creative minds, if they're Pisces, they find themselves thriving in this creative environment with a very unique perspective, and no one's going to change that perspective. So they can surely understand other people's perspective. So like you with your movie taste, you're never going to brag on somebody else for their movie taste, but you're very much like no, I have my taste, you have your taste. And
like I'll listen, but I'm not gonna say yours is right. Yeah, and I'm not gonna say mine is right.
Exactly. And so like you guys are very good like appreciators of art. Like that comes across as really good appreciative skill when it comes to judging art, or honestly, take a Pisces to a museum. It's a fascinating experience.
Now I want to go to a museum.
I want to go to a museum with you.
We belong in a museum.
But yes. So artistic is definitely a trait that's up there. It doesn't necessarily need to be you are artistic, but your mind is. So in some way, whether it's perceiving or creating the artwork, it is, you have a very artistic, like naturally artistic mind. You can think a lot more about artwork, or you have stronger opinions, things of that sort. Next one is what I think is like the absolute staple trait of Pisces. Like I don't think any other one fits Pisces as well as this one. Empathy. Empathetic. You guys are so empathetic. It's like unbelievable how empathetic you are. It is such a it's not actually huge on Pisces sun. Like not every Pisces sun will experience it, but Pisces as a whole, because it comes, you'll see later when we get into like the moon and the rising, empathy is huge. A lot, like it's a huge theme throughout all of Pisces. And so it's a very big strong suit, and I think in my opinion it's probably the strongest trait throughout the whole sign. So empathy, yeah, I mean, you know what it is, we all know what it is. Whether you guys act on it is definitely dependent on the person, right? But like way deep down inside of your cores, all that you want to do is make sure everyone is okay, solve everybody's problem, investigate to figure out what you think the best situation is, and just piece everything back together. And I've seen this firsthand from you. Like this is such a trait that you have. So it's definitely like it can come across as nosy sometimes, especially if you're not directly involved in the situation. But it's coming from a place of you just want to help. Like you see people in emotional turmoil and you can't help but like kind of feed off of that personally, so then you get upset, and then you feel the compulsion to like solve the problem for people or force them to solve it somehow, because not only do you not want to have to deal with it, but you don't want to see them have to deal with it. So you're very much like you guys are like puzzle piece fixers, puzzle fixers, puzzle doers. Yeah, sure. You put the pieces of the puzzle back together.
I just feel like whenever I see someone like having a rough day, or like they're bringing a problem to me, or like they're talking about a problem, and if it gets to like the point where they're like emotionally distraught, or like they're literally like having a bad day because of it, it like hurts me. Like physically hurts me that they're having like that hard of a time. So like I try everything in my power to like figure it out. Like I want to help, and when I can't help, or like I can't physically do something, I get so sad. I'm like, well, I want help. I don't want you having a bad day. I just feel so bad. It's
Yeah.
not like I don't want it to come ever across as like pity or like I'm
Hmm.
like, "Oh, she's having a bad day." Where I'm like
Yeah.
it literally hurts me if you're having a bad day. Like I want to help in any way shape or form, even if it's like I send something really stupid and you like giggle at it. And
Hmm.
that's it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it makes complete sense, and I think that's very common throughout Pisces. Is it's just like a, and that's why I say whether you act on it or not is dependent on the person, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people share that sentimentality where it's like, I don't want this to come across like I'm butting in, but I want to help you so bad.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's like the catchphrase of Pisces.
Mhm.
Um and I think honestly, I think it's a really endearing quality. I think empathy is something that I think a lot more people have now, and that makes me happy. Um
Aw.
it's important. Being empathetic and being able to like feel what someone you care about is going through, sometimes yeah it hurts because they're hurting, so you're hurting, and there's nothing you can do to stop it and everything, but having that place of like understanding is so blissful in a way.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I think Pisces just nails it every time. Biro, probably the Pisces that I've been closest to the longest.
Mhm.
um Drop of a hat. If my mood changes, his mood changes, and he knows something's up. It's crazy. It's insane to watch because we've been in situations before where something has been said to me or something has happened that has made me upset. And he immediately is like, back when we used to smoke, he would be like, "Do you want to go outside for a smoke?" And he would like
Yeah.
just instantly, like he knew.
And
And
you're
it,
like, wait a minute.
I
Do I
know.
know?
It's literally, I sometimes it felt like before I even knew, he knew. Um but no, he like it was just insane for me to watch because it wasn't just me, obviously. Like I noticed him doing it to other people too, but it's just
Yeah.
having that level of empathy, being able to almost have a sixth sense as to when your friends are in need of somebody to like, you know, lend their shoulder or give advice or something. That's
Yeah.
like, it's like a superpower. It's crazy.
Aw.
I really
I like
appreciate
that.
that quality.
Aw.
Moving on. The next one on the list is emotional. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, I mean, all water signs tend to feel emotions pretty strong.
Strongly.
Uh,
Yeah.
Pisces are definitely no strangers to emotions, and they definitely feel them very like deeply and fully. So it's very, you have a very good understanding of your own emotions, and it
Mhm.
shows. However, Pisces have this tendency to bottle up their emotions rather than expressing them, because even though they might have this sort of outlet, typically it is some sort of creative outlet, whether it be journaling or art or dancing or something. They get hit with, you know, that block, that creative block. And so a lot of the
Mhm.
times those emotions will just sit unable to be expressed or to be vented out. And this can make them seem very moody, uh,
Mm.
because they're choosing to keep this pain inside and not, you know, in a healthy manner, not let it out. Because a lot of the time, Pisces also have this tendency to kind of blow up. Um,
Oh. Yeah. I
um,
feel that.
yeah. So and blow ups look different to everybody, right? Like if you've been holding in a lot of anger, you might have an explosive argument. If you've been holding in a lot of sadness, you might have a full mental breakdown. If you've been holding in a lot of anxiety, might build up to a
Mhm.
panic attack, even though you're not usually used to panic attacks, things like that. But
Yeah.
y'all definitely, you know, you got a little pocket that you store all these emotions in sometimes, and buttons bursting, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes it's just too full, you know?
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah, 'cause
do.
I don't want it to make it someone else's problem.
Yeah, and that comes from that like empathetic side. Like you don't want to put your burden on somebody else because you already feel their burden,
Yeah.
you know? And so you don't want to pile anything on top of it. And so I think a lot of the time you guys need creative outlets. I think that's why you tend to be such an artistic sign, is
Mhm.
because, you know, putting your thoughts and feelings and stuff into something creative is like a lot, like it can fuel you in some sort, as long as you don't let them build up too much to the point where, you know, it shuts you down completely.
Yeah.
So if you are a Pisces and this is a trait that you find yourself relating to, I would just find some sort of consistent outlet that you can channel all those emotions into, so that you're not keeping them stored deep down inside you. If you've got someone you can talk to, just shoot the shit every once in a while, you know? Vent them out. You don't have to ask for advice. Just be like, "Hey, I need to let this all out for a second." And I mean, I do that for you. You do that for me.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I've been really working on the not so bottled up part for a long time, that I feel like I've finally, well, obviously for like certain things, like that's obviously going to happen, because it's like one of those, like, I don't want anybody else to know that part, so we'll keep that away. But at least for everything else, generally, I have a more feeling that I'd rather share it and like talk it out to see like how like the feeling is coming across. That's what I try to do with it. Like I like talking it out to figure out like exactly what the thought process behind it all is, and also to like maybe figure out a solution if it is a problem.
Yeah. And I think that actually relates straight into my next trait, which is realistic. So Pisces are such a fascinating sign, my god. So you guys are like, well, because the thing is like, you're so creative and dreamy and like, you know, you have this big imagination, and then when it comes time to be serious, you're like, okay, I need to be realistic about this, so let's cut all the shit. These are my possibilities. Like it's just the craziest 180. And they're both so strongly presenting. Like it's just fascinating to me how you can be so like in your own world and so in reality at the same time. And it's the duality. Like that's why there's two fish, right? Like it's the duality of it. And so you have one foot in Narnia and one foot outside the wardrobe, and it's just like insane to me that
what
you
a good analogy. That's a good one.
It's just like insane to me that you can do that. So but yes, it's realistic, but you're dreamy at the same time. Like I wish it made more sense, but that's just how you guys are. Oftentimes you may come off as somewhat pessimistic when you're looking at like a big picture, or like when you're looking at like a situation in its entirety versus like a piece of it or something. You look at all the outcomes, and that has to do with your like high, basically like intelligence, racing brain, creative, like your critical thinking skills off the charts. They're great. So because of that, you know, you guys look at all these possible incomes, and basically what you plan for is one that's right below like a neutral outcome, right? So if you're looking at, let's say something breaks, right? Like something expensive breaks, right?
Yeah, like a fancy vase.
Yeah, and you've got like 4 options, and one of them is like you buy a new one. That's like the worst case scenario because it's super expensive. You piece it back together, which is the second, you know, the kind of like below average because it's going to look bad, but it'll be back together. You know, get rid of it altogether is like that neutral one, because then it's just not there anymore. You don't have to worry about it. And then best case scenario, you get a replacement for free, right? You guys would plan to have piecing it back together as the outcome, right? Like, and the reason that you do that is because you're actually setting yourself up. It's like a little trick. You're setting yourself up for like a better outcome to be satisfying. So like when you say, okay, we're going to piece it back together, it'll be fine. You call the company real quick. They go, no problem. We'll ship you out a new one. And now you are stoked because things have gone better than what you thought they were. And it's like this thing that you guys, like Pisces, have a tendency to do this. Yeah, you lowball things so that when there are high results, it feels better. And I don't know.
That's so true.
Yeah, and I don't know why that's a thing that you guys do, but I think that's fascinating because I stay hopeful and plan for the like best case scenario, and then when I get the neutral scenario, I'm like, oh, well, fuck, this isn't exactly what I wanted, but I guess this works. You guys get the neutral, you know, outcome, and you're like, oh shit, this is great. I thought we were gonna have to do XYZ. Like, it's so smart. I was like like reading through this, I was like, I'm gonna have to start doing that in my life. Like, I'm gonna have to like start like being somewhat pessimistic about the outcome, so that when it turns out better, it's like rewarding.
I feel like it's because, like, why get your hopes up for something that has even the smallest percentage? Why get your hopes up for something that'll just let you down anyways?
Yeah.
Like,
No, it
why
makes
not
sense.
lowball it to the point where you're like, yeah, so I'm thinking kind of middle ground right now. So if it goes to the low end, yeah, it sucks, but like you were already lowballing it in the
Mhm.
first place. But if it goes any of the two like higher directions, then it just feels so much more rewarding, as you said.
Right, based. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it makes total
Yeah.
sense. And it's like, it's interesting to me because realistically, the way that your sign is painted, you would think you would go kind of the apathetic way of like expect nothing and you never have any expectations not met.
Anything else? Yeah.
But instead, you guys do. You look at an outcome and you plan for one. And that's that part of the realistic like trait that you guys portray. And it baffles me that this is such a common thing in Pisces, because I thought about it and every Pisces that I know, I think does this.
Yeah.
And I was like looking up, like I was on Reddit earlier, like because they have like subreddits for astrology signs, right?
I love
And
that.
this is when I pulled this off of a subreddit because people were talking about it, and I was surfing it for like an hour because I thought it was so fascinating how many people were like, yeah, I do this too. And I was like, all of you fuckers do this?
No way, all you fuckers for real?
Literally, all you fuckers do this. This is crazy. So yeah, and I think that is, I mean, I wouldn't have put that as a staple trait, but I guess it is. I guess that must be your realism / seeming pessimism is just apparently a very common thing in a lot of Pisces.
Huh.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that either, to be honest.
I know. On the flip side, the dreamy part that I've been talking about, that's the last trait. So, it's funny because in my notes I have Delulu is right, LMAO. But it's not exactly like it's you come off as like maybe seeming a little Delulu, but Pisces are by nature dreamers. You guys are big dreamers. You have these like vivid imaginations, which is funny because we were talking about that word earlier.
I hate that word.
Okay, quick
I'll justify it
sidebar.
at the end. Or do you want to sidebar right now?
Yeah, let's sidebar.
The reason I have beef with the word vivid. So whenever I hear the word vivid, and I think it has to do with how the word is literally said, but vivid, I know the definition means clear picture. Like you could word for word say, for example, exactly what happened in your dream and like this, that, and the other specific details, what happened, where it was. But vivid to me sounds unclear.
Oh, your beef with the word is it doesn't sound like a correct word?
Yes, vivid to me because I think it's the v part
Wait,
of it.
This is the most Pisces thing you could have said on this episode.
What do you mean?
This is the most Pisces thing. Okay, do you remember how I was talking about how you guys can come off like you have like this artistic thing, so it can come off like opinionated, or like you have this like clear image of like what something means.
Yeah.
It's like, well, vivid doesn't seem like
vivid doesn't sound like it's right. It doesn't. Vivid to me, like when
I've never had an opinion on a word like this.
This is ridiculous. So anyway, so vivid to me because of the v part sounds like you're wiping like a window. So it sounds unclear to me. And so when someone was explaining to me who I can vivid dream, poor excuse to the word, but it is clear. Like I can picture the dreams clearly. I can remember them. But when someone said, wow, that's interesting, Cap, you have really vivid imagination. And I was like, what the fuck? I can picture it though. Why would they say that?
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny.
I'm
the
so mad,
part.
Though. It is. That's how I picture it.
Oh,
I picture it like wiping a window. That it's like
oh my god,
unclear. Like it's
So let me ask you
smudged.
something. How do you feel about the word vivacious?
Isn't vivacious like full of life?
Yeah, it's like lively and animated.
Yeah, I know what that means.
But like, how do you feel about
No, like that I know what it means, and that it like translates exactly to how
like
like,
what
the
you
word should
so
be.
okay, so vivacious sounds lively and animated.
Correct.
but vivid doesn't sound.
No, No, it
Okay.
doesn't. And I know that sounds crazy, I swear. But vivacious literally sounds, by definition, full of life. Like,
Okay.
just like, I don't know how to
I
explain
okay.
it. Like,
At
it
the
literally
at the end
sounds
of
word
this
for word
podcast,
definition, yes.
at the end of this podcast, we're gonna play a cute little game, okay?
Oh no. Okay.
We're gonna circle back to this. Put a pin in this. We're gonna circle back. I have questions.
Okay, pin in.
Okay, so dreamy. So okay, yeah, dreamers by nature. Blah 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 blah. Basically, what's going on in your head are like these clear images, and I keep wanting to say vivid.
You can, it's fine. I know what it means. I swear.
But yeah, these clear images, these complete storylines playing out when you're imagining scenarios or imagining like when a conversation needs to happen, right? Like let's say you like, oh, I need to talk to XYZ. That conversation, clear as day, in perfect voices, perfect tonality. Like if you're talking to the person in person, you can see the conversation happening. I mean, it's gonna play out in your mind. Like on the scale of inner monologues and like mental imaging, y'all are maxed out. Like it, whole ass dreamland up there. And so
it's a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the thing you drew about like the like makeshift D&D thing that we were gonna do with one of your like dreamscapes or whatever. And you were like, I can see it so well in my brain. It's just like I have to put it on the paper.
Yeah, I wish I could draw like better to give like a better definition of like what I physically see.
I bet you could now. I feel like
probably.
I feel like you now as an artist, you could probably do it no problem because you've improved so much.
Like all the like different layers and stuff, like shit's insane.
Yeah,
but it'd be really cool.
It can get a little cray cray, but
for sure, a little delulu,
but yes, yeah. So your guys' imagination is just super strong, and like it's just like it's kind of like this, like this. Here comes another one of my A+ analogies. You're this tiny fish in this big pond, and you get to create this big pond, and so everything in there is so clear to you. And everyone else might not know what your pond looks like, but you have the perfect image of it, Yeah. And so it comes off a little delusional, but really what it is it's just you are a creative soul and you're looking for any sort of creative outlet to get that image out of your brain because you don't want to spend too much time trapped in there. So a lot of the time you guys see it as better done, putting it out into the world and sharing it with other people. Fun fact, every Pisces that I know is a D&D nerd.
Joke's on you, I'm not the full nerd.
Well,
just a little bit.
You play D&D with me. I think you count.
Dang it.
No, our characters are they're literally bonded, but no, you can't tell me. I watched you play that character. You can't tell me you're not a D&D nerd.
Yeah, well, you played that character with me. So.
Yeah, but I'm not denying that I'm a D&D. Like, you're denying it. I'm not.
I just another one. I feel like in the terms of like don't play D&D at all and to grubs, I feel like I'm middle ground.
Well, let's back it up.
Yeah,
here.
But if we're going to the extremes.
Well, okay, Pisces and their extremes, man. What I'm saying is you are either nerdy about it or you are not nerdy about it, That's what we're all right, I will rephrase this for your Pisces brain. Every Pisces that I know has dabbled in D&D.
Yes.
Is that better for you?
Yes. And my Pisces brain? Yes. This is so Pisces for me. I can
literally you are giving Pisces so hard right now.
What a great podcast to be doing this on.
Literally.
I can't wait to say how Aries of you.
I know, yeah. Oh my god, no, please. Literally me talking a shit ton is an Aries thing, so I can't wait. I can't wait to I'm gonna throw something out there and you do this thing sometimes that makes me nervous where I know you're joking but your tone gets so serious and I'm like what do you mean?
Oh God,
I think it's yeah you'll one of your joking voices can sometimes sound so serious. Like, it's so sarcastic and it's very obviously a joke. But every once in a while it trips me up because I'm just dumb and can't like differentiate sometimes. And so every once in a while
Oh no.
I'll hear you say something and I have to mentally hit a reset button and go, she didn't mean it. It's a joke.
Oh no! Wait, please call me out on it next time.
No. It's not a you thing though. It's a me thing. It's like me not being able
to know which one it is.
Oh yeah, I'll let you know which voice it is the next time you do one. But I feel like it comes out a lot when we're in group settings.
Probably.
Yeah. Cause you get all like very, I love you in group settings. And cause you get all like hype and like very, I don't know, out of your shell, I guess.
Very vivacious,
like,
or what?
Yeah. I knew this word thing was gonna be fun. Yes, very vivacious.
Yay.
But yeah, like it is. I can't wait for next week to come through, and you're gonna say something. I'm gonna go, do you mean that?
Do you mean that?
Do you mean that?
Can we talk about it?
After the podcast, I'm being like, hey Cap, that thing you said earlier.
Did you mean that?
Did you mean that?
Being very water sign right now, but did you mean that?
I'm sorry, I have a water sign moon. Did you mean that? Excellent. Okay, moving on. No, but back on the rails. Back on the. I think we're both kind of slap happy too because our sleep wasn't that great.
Yeah. Worth it though.
Absolutely. So okay, putting the train back on the rails.
Of course.
That is it for sun sign, right? So after 50 minutes, we finally got through the basis of it. So
Don't
next
worry,
up,
guys, I'll start talking soon. This is such a good podcast though today. I'm loving this.
The energy is so palpable. It's so good. Okay, so Pisces moon. This is what, remember when I said we're gonna circle back to something?
Yes.
Looking through Pisces moon, I was like, am I a Pisces moon? Because I kept thinking my ass was a Scorpio moon. I'm a fucking Pisces moon.
Really?
I had no idea. I thought first I have Mandela affected myself, and I thought I was a Scorpio moon, but I am not.
Huh.
I was okay. I'm gonna read this, and then you tell me that it doesn't make sense that I second guessed it. Okay.
Yeah.
Pisces moon are naturally emotional souls. They are huge on making connections with other people. They work best both socially and when they're working alone in calm, warm, welcoming spaces, and they are always a calming presence to be around.
So when I first heard you read that first sentence, the individual is always big on making connections. And your main
thing in my bio.
Yeah. I have a weakness for people with names and life stories. I was like, that's her. Nail hit
reading
on
this
head.
I was literally like, I was putting this, I literally had to copy it word for word because I was like, I'm never gonna be able to explain this without just talking about myself. I swear to God.
No, that's literally
but yeah,
hit you nail on the head right
I
there.
know, as I was like typing it out, I was like, God, this sounds like me. And
yeah.
And it's not how I didn't read it as like, oh, this is how I would describe myself. I was like, this is what people tell me I'm like. Am I a Pisces moon? And so I looked it up real quick. I punched in my birthday. So for forever, I've been telling people my moon sign doesn't really fit me, but my rising and my sun sign do, because my moon sign was fucking wrong.
That adds up a lot.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, you're literally Mandela affecting yourself so hard.
I placeboed a Scorpio
you said,
moon.
damn, this is not me.
Literally. Insane. But yes, but yeah. So Pisces moon is basically me. People who are like, because again, that moon sign is that internal emotional self, right? So it is very much like my bio. It's having a weakness for people, having like a and not weakness in a bad term, but like a weakness as in like something that gets you, like it hits you in the gut to watch a human go through something bad, or when it says working best in calm, warm, welcoming spaces, like that's true. I mean, I for one need a good atmosphere to do anything in. I need a comfortable space. I need it to be calm. If there's chaos around me, like I gotta plug in. When I'm at work, I work at a place that does, we have a shop, right? So like we are the offices, and they
Yeah.
have a shop where they make all of the stuff in house. That shop is very close to my office. It gets very, very loud, and I cannot focus on anything because I'm hearing all the guys blast like their music. And don't get me wrong, their music is great. I like go out there and there's like Def Leppard on one side, and then on the other side is like Bring Me the Horizon, and then way in the back somebody's like playing 80s music. And
Yeah.
that's super, super fun until I have to work on something.
Yeah.
So I have to like plug in, I put on my podcast that I listen to, and I just like work away because that just like it centers me. And so
Yeah.
it's very much like a Pisces moon trait. It's just like I want to say it's like neurotypical kind of behavior, but it very much is. It's like I need to put myself in like the spot of a neurotypical person who can just like hone in and focus nonstop. And that's how I do it, is making it like a very welcoming space.
Oh,
So
I
yeah,
love that.
makes a lot of sense. And then on the flip side, Pisces rising, this is circling back to that like empathy kind of theme where Pisces rising will come across, so this is the mask that you put on. They're going to come across as empathetic and highly adaptive people. You're going to throw them into a social situation, and it might not be how they act 100% of the time, but they'll have a piece of themselves out there and a piece of whoever they need to be to survive the social outing, right?
Yeah.
They're very intuitive, so they're very good at like reading places and like large groups or spaces, anything like that. So like wherever you put them, they're going to be very good at figuring out the vibe really quick. And this is a Pisces thing for sure, I think, because I know you and B-Row are super good at this, like reading the vibe of a group of people or something. And you guys are very good vibe checkers, I think.
Aw,
and
glad.
and that definitely translates to Pisces rising, because they also have like a large duality in their mind. So like while they are very great at reading people and reading spaces, and they're very empathetic and they can adapt to any situation, and so they also have this like very big duality where oftentimes a Pisces rising is somebody who is like seeking these big answers, right? But they refuse to take the big leap to get to that answer. So I mean, I don't really know a situation in which this would show itself so quickly. Like if you were to meet a Pisces rising, like I don't know an instant like point or scenario in which this would be displayed. But when I was researching it, what I imagined was like, you know, Pisces risings are probably those people who, you know, want so badly to know what this experience is like. They, you know, like, oh, this would be so cool to do. I can't imagine how freeing it would be, like say skydiving or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't imagine how fun that would be. It looks so awesome. It would be so cool to free fall and parachute to the ground. Like, I can't imagine what, but would never do it.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. I think the duality probably spans across the whole sign. I also think a lot of people probably wouldn't jump out of a plane.
Probably not.
I would in a heartbeat. That sounds so fun.
I
But
wouldn't. My fear of
like
heights would have me pass out mid go up in airplane.
I would be way more afraid of the plane than I would skydiving. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Plane tiny, make a lot of noise, shakes a lot, jump out, okay.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's surprising. So that's all I got for you on the basic traits of Pisces.
Yee, my favorite part. We get to go in the relationship side. I'm excited.
Such a typical Pisces thing. Excited for romance.
Excited for emotions and love and feelings and yum. Yes. So here we go. I have a basic explanation of like how Pisces go about like relationships, and then we'll jump into it. So basically they explained Pisces as an old school intuitive romantic,
Mm-hmm.
which appeals to like anyone who doesn't mind wading in the deep end of all the emotions. So instead of just being surface level connection, they go deep. They love that deep nitty gritty part of things and like getting to know like the actual soul of someone, not just scratching the surface. If you're looking to connect with a Pisces in a long lasting way, you'll need to be comfortable with the fact that they too struggle to take charge and tend to embrace a quiet, more passive flow on life. So, how I would explain that would be like, though they may be interested in like going after you and being that quote unquote nosy person and like wanting
Mm-hmm.
to get to know you more, but I feel like in a way that they have all those emotions that they keep pocketed or behind walls for an analogy, that they're a little bit more on the shyer side for that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it takes a little bit more of them coming out of their shell to take that quote unquote charge, but they really truly embrace people who like can get that out of them. And
Mm-hmm.
I really like that a lot. And then it also explains that they also have a Neptunian style of wearing those rose-colored glasses and sweeping you off your
Mm-hmm.
feet with their dreamy, realistic perspective. So they are not very good at explaining their emotions to a degree, but boy, are they wearing those glasses on strong,
Yeah.
which I think is so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
adorable.
But so we have some attractive traits before we jump into our best compatible matches
Okay.
versus our worst
Okay.
compatible matches.
Before you go into them, let me know so
Yeah,
I can give a guess.
of course, of course.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
I have 3 traits that they find Pisces being very attractive. It says that they're very charming, romantic, and considerate. They make others feel very special and they are the ones who allow the person that they're talking to brighten or to be the light
Oh.
of the conversation instead of them wanting to be like, oh no, talk about me, talk about me.
Oh
No,
my
they
god,
like
so
making the other
true.
person seem more.
Wait, that's you.
Yeah.
That's so true. That's crazy. That's because you're so like that. Like you lead people into talking about themselves.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
I feel like people genuinely get nervous about talking about themselves. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I do. I will fess up right now. But
Oh, I
I
don't.
think there's something about seeing someone else light up about something that they
Mm-hmm.
really like to talk about or that they find interesting about themselves personally that just makes me smile. That I'm like, yay, you're
Yeah.
talking about yourself.
I
It like makes me excited.
I definitely sympathize with like I love hearing people talk about things they're passionate about, which might be my
Yeah,
Pisces moon. Now that I
probably.
know I have that. um but I love seeing that kind of thing cuz like I'm no
Yeah.
stranger to talking or talking about myself.
Yeah.
I as insecure as I am like all over, I do have this weird bit of confidence in the way that I speak. It's like one of
Very
the
much
only
so.
things that I'm confident about. So I think I have no problem with it, but I love hearing people talk about the things that they love at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So the next one was a bit interesting in the wording of it, and I'm not sure
Okay.
how I feel about it.
Oh, is it
It
another
says
icky word? Is it another word that doesn't sound like a word?
no, I don't. I wouldn't say it's a word that doesn't sound like the word how it should be, but the term is slinky. It says that Pisces are slinky, sensuous, and move in a hypnotic, gliding ways, like a fish.
Sensuous?
Sensuous,
Oh,
excuse me.
sensuous. Okay. I
Sensuous.
was about to be like another cocktail term.
Cocktail. Look it up. Look it up.
Look it up.
But yeah,
Slinky.
I wouldn't know if it was talking about the physicality of like
Slinky.
how a person who is a Pisces moves, or if they're talking
I
about
think I think
a
maybe
metaphorically.
I think it's maybe metaphorically because you know how a slinky is a very fluid back and forth movement, like when you
Yeah,
go like in your hands. So maybe that's what it is. It's supposed to be very like fluid and mesmerizing.
that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah,
But the way they worded it, I said, huh.
slinky,
Yeah, slinky, sensuous, and moving in hypnotic ways.
slinky. I like how it
Writing it down. Write that
sounds.
down. Write that
Yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah. I need to start. I need to start using that.
And then the last one, it says that they have soulful, big, and languid eyes that draw you in.
True.
True.
Can confirm. The eyes, you can recognize 2 signs by their eyes, a Scorpio and a Pisces.
How?
Scorpios have the bitchiest eyes.
Oh.
And Pisces have, oh God. I mean, yeah, soulful eyes. Like, you look into the eyes of a Pisces and it's kind of like you see that they've seen you.
Is that cute?
I was gonna say, does that sound a little too dopey?
No, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Because like I like saying that term, like that I see you.
Oh yeah, I see you. Yeah, and that's very much like that's the vibe that the eyes of a Pisces give off. So like when I know I do this to like everybody when I meet them, but did I guess your sign?
I think towards the end of our conversation, yeah.
Yeah. I
for sure.
If I had met you when I was trying to guess your sign, I think I would have gotten it. Cuz you have very like prominent Pisces eyes.
I take that as a compliment.
Good. It is one.
Yeah. Well, we're about to jump into matches. So
okay.
What you got for me? What is our best and what is our least?
I've only got one guess for each because I don't. There are so many that I think could work, but maybe not. Like, I'm not confident in a lot of my guesses. My guess for what would work is Capricorn, and here's why. You guys are dreamers, right? You're very, like, dreamy, but you've got that realistic undertone, right? Mm-hmm. Capricorn is almost like a balance for it, right? Like, they're very, like, logical, and very, like, down to earth, very rooted. So I think that Pisces could bring them out of that and give them, like, hey, dream a little, because here I understand the realistic portion of this too, but like dream a little, you know. And I think that maybe when Pisces gets a little out of control with their dreaming, Capricorns are very grounded and they're very good at being like, hey, come back down to earth real quick.
Yeah, so okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I think that one. For least compatible, honestly, I think Aries. And the reason I say that is just because, I mean, this is another one where I'm like, I'm not too confident, but like there's gotta be a fire sign in there somewhere, because fire and water don't usually mix very well. And I just imagine it being Aries, because Aries is on, like, they're the other bookend, right? So like they're this like young and arrogant sign versus Pisces is this very like aged and refined and wise sign. So it just, I feel like they would clash.
Gotcha. Okay, I could see that. Well, I can say you got one of those right.
Okay.
I won't tell you which.
Okay. I always make sure not to look at your portion of the notes at all so I can guess these.
Ooh, I'm excited. So the first one for best compatible matches is actually a Cancer. So it said that Cancers are actually considered the best matches because they both share a love for intimacy and that they're very capable of creating that deep emotional bond with each other. They understand each other so intuitively, and sometimes they can seem to communicate even on like a psychic level. Like no words have to be said. They just kind of get. And it also focuses that they have important differences that complement and balance each other. So though they may be different and have very strong opinions on those differences, they are just different enough that it works out, that they eventually balance out each other, and then they create that really good, strong, deep bond. It says the Pisces are easily able to manage a Cancer's emotions, and a Cancer can help Pisces manage the material world. So instead of being that like super out of space, like dreamy type beat, it said that Cancers can also help bring them down to earth as well, while Pisces can also help them talk about their emotions and how they're feeling about certain things. So I totally can see that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I can see. Honestly, I wouldn't have thought most compatible, just because as two incredibly emotional signs, you would think there would be maybe like too much emotion in there, but it does kind of make sense. I wouldn't have said
two water signs.
Yeah, actually, I would have probably said two. Usually signs are pretty compatible with signs of the same element.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if any of them weren't going to be, I would think it would be water for sure.
Yeah.
I would like if there was any sign where it's like stay away from people of your own sign. I think it's actually maybe air signs that are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they aren't typically great with other air signs, but I guess we'll probably get to that soon. So,
Yeah.
um, but I love that. I love that they're just they're like just different enough. Like the way that that's put, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Like
Yeah.
you know
I
how
liked it a lot.
they say opposites attract, but you should still have similarity. I guess
Mm-hmm.
the other portion of it's probably true too, right? Like people who are very similar can be together, but you have to have like some sort of difference. So
Yeah.
it's probably
Just
a very
different
like
enough.
harmonious relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Wait, didn't you say a Scorpio is also a water sign or no?
The water signs,
No,
yes,
Scorpio.
yeah, Scorpio. Wait, hold on. Water
Yeah, I couldn't
signs,
remember. 'Cause I know it's
Cancer.
Aquarius,
Wait, yeah,
Cancer,
Cancer,
and Pisces.
Pisces. No, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Those are the water signs.
Oh,
Jesus,
gotcha.
I had an aneurysm thinking about it. Scorpio is the one that doesn't make sense to me because I always like I immediately see a scorpion and I'm like, no, not water, like Earth,
I
desert.
think yeah, Earth,
Yeah,
rock. Like
but no, it's they're a water sign.
yeah. Well, it also says Scorpio is a really good match too. So there's two water signs in this list, which I found very interesting. It said that they're both capable of forming deep emotional connections as well. Same thing with that on the psychic level. And it says that they can communicate almost telepathically. So it's kind of the same thing as like how explained in Cancer. It says being with a Scorpio allows a Pisces to truly express the loving and forgiving nature of its sign itself, while the Pisces is capable of giving that deep compassion and kindness, which can extend to self sacrifice. So they like give
Wow.
up a part of themselves by like being with each other, but like also branching
Wow.
out of that like comfort zone.
How interesting.
And it says a Scorpio can act as a powerful protector that provides a safe haven for the
Oh, for
Pisces.
sure. Scorpios
Yeah.
are the safest sign. You cannot
Really?
change my mind. You cannot change my mind about that. Bebo is a Scorpio. So is Rachel. So is my entire family.
Bebo gives off
Very,
Scorpio.
yeah. He has
Yeah.
very like it's interesting because Scorpios, I can't wait till we get to Scorpio because dissecting them is amazing. But he gives off very much like that like big brother protector vibes like 100% of
Mhm.
the time.
Yeah.
And but he's also just like he's such a safe space. He you want to hear something cute?
Yeah.
He texted me and Lexi today because we have a group
Mhm.
chat called the Unholy Trinity.
Yeah.
And he texted us and he said, "Happy International Women's Day, you two. You are both super amazing, and I'm proud of both of you for everything you've gone through in life and what you have accomplished and everything to come. Love you both." Just out of nowhere.
That's so cute.
Yeah. And he's just like that 100% of the time. And
Aw,
it's just, he's
Bebo.
just so, and he's like one of those people who gets like offended when you don't go to him for things. Like, never
Oh.
enough to like be actually upset, but he's like, you know, you can come to me, right?
Yeah.
Like he gets like mildly offended when you feel like you can't talk to him about
Like that
something.
safe space was quote unquote broken.
Yeah, like he's like
Yeah.
as though he's like my doors are wide open and you're refusing to walk in. Why?
Yeah.
Like he gets
Like
and he's
why?
just I their words cannot describe how much I love that man.
Aw.
Yeah,
I'm so
but
happy you guys have that bond. That's so cute.
and so I just between him and my brother and my mom and dad and Rachel, like literally both of my siblings and parents are Scorpios, and so like all they are to me is a safe space.
Oh, I love that. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Aw. Well, the next one on the list was actually Virgo. It says that Virgo
Really?
is the opposite sign of Pisces, which means
Uh-huh.
they're the natural partners of each other. So since they're on opposite sides of like the dial, I guess you
Oh.
could say.
Yeah, they're opposing signs, yeah.
Yeah. So it says the common theme between them is that they love doing the acts of service and they have a level of humility. Both of these signs are capable of giving to the point of self-sacrifice, yet the service they provide is of a different nature. Pisces give a spiritual and emotional support, while the Virgo offers a practical assistance. So the Pisces seems to do a lot of the emotional quote unquote lifting between the two in the relationship itself. But the Virgo gives like a sense of, I guess, another grounding technique in a way where they're like, hey, this is like the practical side of things. Let's just not go too
Mm-hmm.
out there, you know? They just bring them back. I
Oh,
feel
so
like
that's
anything that grounds a Pisces is a good match.
yeah. Okay, so Capricorn's on here for sure. That's the one I got right.
All right, bring it up to Capricorn. That's the last one.
I
It
knew it.
says,
I that is the most natural pairing in the world to me.
really?
What it's well, one of. I think the other one is Aries and Leo, which we'll talk about next month.
True. Yeah, so it said that Pisces is one of the least practical signs in the zodiac, while Capricorn is the most practical sign.
Mm-hmm.
Capricorns can be very loving and devoted generally. They do not really get together with someone unless there is a practical advantage to the match. They seem almost so different that it shouldn't work, and yet the both of them really do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just as you said, you're like,
Yep.
well, they're pretty different, but I think Capricorn gives that side of what a Pisces is missing and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa.
They are, to me, they're one of those pairings that is like perfectly matched puzzle pieces. Like,
Yeah.
I just think Pisces are so individually okay, so there's multiple layers here because Capricorns tend to be pretty independent
Mhm.
and Pisces for the most part tend to also be pretty independent. So
Mhm.
that part of it works really well because while Pisces do need some sort of dependence,
Mhm.
Capricorn needs independence, right? So you can allow, as a Pisces, you can allow that independence to that Capricorn, but you can keep them kind of in the space of like, hey, we're here for each other. And
Yeah.
so you can get that dependence and you can almost facilitate that when you need it because a Capricorn will devote themselves to their partner to an extent, meaning that whatever you need, they're willing to provide to you. So if you need a little bit of dependence, Capricorn's like, all right, let me put my dependency shoes on and like, let's do this real quick.
Yeah.
Because they are very practical, but like, make no mistake, like their utter realism and practicality and everything, it doesn't hinder their emotional intelligence, right? So like they're still
Yeah.
very much like emotional beings and like of course there are other signs that wrap into that too. Um but it just makes sense to me for that. It makes sense to me for like the grounded versus the kind of dreamy aspects of it. And it also makes sense to me for like, empathy versus sympathy because Capricorns tend to be sympathetic whereas Pisces and other signs tend to be empathetic, and I think those two
Mhm.
pair really well because if you have
I think so too.
if you have somebody who can be empathetic and kind of like feel the vibe for everyone, the Capricorn can respond by being sympathetic. So it's kind of like this thing of like there's a balance there. Like you're feeling it for both of them, but the Capricorn can then sympathize with what you are feeling to come to the understanding of what both of you are feeling. So it just makes sense to me too.
Yeah.
I think the two fit together really really well.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Hmm.
What a great description. These analogies are 10 out of 10. I won't lie. They're really on point
I know
today.
I'm on it with the analogies today.
All right, so now we're wrapping it up to the worst matches for a Pisces. Starting
Okay.
off with Leo. It seems that Leo and Pisces are one of the least compatible couples in the
I knew a
entire.
fire sign would be on here.
It was. It's like the number one. It said
Yeah.
too different. It says
Yep.
they do not have enough in common
Nope.
to form anything. It says if the situation is reversed, like for example, they gave a Leo man versus a Pisces woman. Although they don't have much in common, she'll be memorized by like whatever he does, and he'll bask in the attention. But over time, they'll just discover how different they are, and then they just can't balance out. It's just like that. I would say like moment of infatuation, and that's about it. They
Yeah.
just get that surface level, and they're like, "Well, there's not really much else here,
I
so I'm
guess
gonna leave."
I should have seen Leo coming, actually. Because well, I mean, as far as like I knew a fire sign would be on there. I should have Leo is like that bitch of the fire signs, you know?
Oh yeah,
So I
for
probably
sure.
should have seen that coming considering Pisces is like that bitch of the water signs. Um I should have known that, but I went with Aries because Aries is like so like every element has kind of like that neutral sign, and
Yeah.
Aries is very much that neutral. Like Leo and Sagittarius are very much the extremes, and
Mm-hmm.
Aries is that neutral one. So I was like, it's probably Aries, but I should have known.
Should have went for the
I should have
extreme.
known. Pisces and their extremes. I should have known.
I was about to say. Well, the next one is Aquarius. It
Oh.
says Aquarius is one of the worst matches for a Pisces.
Oh, pfft.
Both of these signs tend to be rather unconventional, but they have a very different approach as to like their lives as two separate individuals.
Mhm.
Pisces don't tend to really have that sense of boundaries and floats through life, while Aquariuses
All
are more
boundaries.
fully aware of these
Yeah.
boundaries and they're very set in stone. So, just the way they go through life as individuals, if they come together, it just doesn't really mix. And so,
Yeah. That makes sense to
yeah.
me.
I like kind of I don't know. I feel like that one was like a way that it should have been explained as opposites attract, but in
Mhm.
the end it didn't go the way I thought. It was like
No,
no, they're
I
too different.
think I think what it is, I think Pisces is such a unique sign that being with another unique sign like Aquarius is like that's a lot. Like
Mhm.
having an Aquarius who is their own individual, like super unique, very like, has this certain perspective of the world that is unchanging and everything, with a Pisces who will try to understand that perspective, but if
Mhm.
they can't, will never be able to subscribe to that perspective, is
Mhm.
like you're hitting a brick wall, you know?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
if you can't understand each other's basic way of life, which
That's it.
both signs have very stubborn mindsets when it comes to their basic ways of life, then that's a I mean, I'm betting you it's like a 1 in a million chance that that pairing could work out.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, wrapping it up on our final worst match is Gemini. It was
Oh
as mentioned
no.
it was as mentioned before that Pisces is immutable water, while Gemini is immutable air.
Yeah.
So one has few boundaries while the other just is oblivious to boundaries.
Yeah.
So there's no one to really provide that balance or stability in the relationship. So they're talking about relationships, friendships, romantic side of things. They said, with that being said, they have really good sexual chemistry between the signs, so they can have a lot of fun dating. Just in the commitment side of things, it's a no-go. I thought that was really funny. So they have fun, but that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, that one makes sense to me too. I feel
Yeah.
like when it comes to boundaries, I feel like having two signs that aren't exactly the best at boundaries, it's
Yeah.
probably a little rough.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna wrap up my section with outing myself on my red flags and green flags.
Let's go. I'm gonna confirm or deny.
Okay. Did you have any ideas of which the flags you wanted to go first?
Wishy-washy for red flags.
Gotcha, gotcha.
That's how I think. And what I mean by that is like either either one, it's gonna be like, yeah, I like this person. Oops, they've done one thing. I have the ick.
Uh-huh.
Or it's gonna be like, I like them, but like I don't like this, but I like this, but I don't like this, but I like this. I'm not.
Mhm.
I promise, I'm not trying to call you out.
No,
This
but
is.
you are. And it's okay.
And then for green flags, I think my biggest guess would be like that Pisces is in your corner unconditionally.
Aw,
Yeah.
it's so cute.
Yeah.
But we'll jump into red flags because I want to bring it on home with something good at the end. So red
Okay.
flags first. But the first one is that they have excessive secrecy. Pisces are known
Oh,
to be the most secretive of the zodiac signs. They're often the most guarded and private, keeping their thoughts and feelings to themselves. Confirm or deny?
interesting. Mm. Yes, I think that Pisces are by nature very private people. They
Mhm.
put a lot of attention on other people instead of themselves, so this makes sense.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, confirmed.
Hmm.
Stamp.
Yeah. That's gonna be the green stamp. Got it.
Got it.
Hmm.
The green stamp on a red flag. Got it. The next one is unpredictable mood swings. They exhibit erratic changes of an emotion, ranging from super cheerful and positive to feelings really down and depressed. This can be caused from not being able to manage their emotions at times. And it also depends on an unstable atmosphere. For example, if
Hmm.
they're in a very like sensitive state of mind, like that range of motion can fluctuate super heavily. And I can totally like attest to that because like if I'm having a really rough day, for example, and then if I go and join a space like with my friends and it just is very Debbie Downer and whatnot,
Hmm.
I'm having a shitty day now. Cause like
Yeah.
I can pick up on the empathy side of things and I'm like, well, shit, I was already having a bad day. Everyone else is having a bad day, so I'm gonna have a bad day. But
Yeah.
if the mood kind of picks up, depending on what we're doing, my mood can change accordingly, but it definitely still is that quote unquote wishy washy kind of feeling.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Empathy.
Stamp. Stamp.
Yeah, this one green stamp because it's
Yeah.
very much I've watched you do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
It's
very
pretty
very
bad.
very very green. Very in the green.
Yeah. And the last one is they can get hung up on an ex or rush into a relationship. Pisces can struggle to move on from past relationships and possibly still be in contact with them afterwards. This can kind of put a strain on their past emotional attachment and cause some baggage with some current lovers or current friendships. It really depends on what happened in the past and like what quote unquote trauma is attached to it. But on the other side of things, that they're also known to rush into a relationship. Um, excuse me, and that also can happen without them getting to know each other first, which can lead into unrealistic expectations and misunderstandings down the line. So
Hmm.
it's either they're like holding on too long that they're like, damn, this is really weighing me down, or they say fuck that and jump in way too fast that it kind of bites them in the butt later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I would give this one a yellow stamp because
Why?
well, hmm. I'm going to say this one's dependent on the person
Yeah.
because this is something that I have seen happen very regularly in a Pisces
Hmm.
life and something that I've never seen in a Pisces life. Like,
Yeah, I feel like this is very person dependent,
yeah.
especially dependent on like their past relationships specifically.
Yeah, I would agree with that because I have quite a few friends and quite a few past friends who were Pisces and I think maybe two of the probably six or seven that I've known
Hmm.
are prone to this. And
Yeah.
that's not very large percentage wise. So I would
Yeah.
put I'd, yellow stamp, yellow stamp,
Yellow stamp.
yellow
Yellow
stamp.
flag, if you will. And then, so we're bringing on, I only got two for green flags, but they're still very positive and I think they're really cute.
I could give you a billion green flags.
Oh my gosh, stop it. Anyways, so the first one is showing empathy. We said empathy is like one of the biggest stamps for Pisces. It basically said you're able to put yourself in other people's shoes. You're able to see situations from their point of view, even if you have a completely different opinion on the point of view themselves. Since you're really empathetic and your partner will feel very comfortable of being able to come to you with their problems, and it doesn't have to be like a romantic partner, it can be like your best friend or like
Hmm.
friends or people you just even met. They can just feel that comfortable space and want to come and talk to you about it. They'll feel heard, seen, and that you're actually listening to them vent and you're always there to comfort them, even if you have to like say, hey, I'm not really here for a solution, or like you're trying to physically help me, like I just need to get this off my chest, will you be there to listen for me?
Hmm.
And that's kind of the space that the Pisces gives, and that you never really have to hide your emotions from a Pisces when they're talking about it, and like
Hmm.
how you create that quote unquote safe space with another person.
Yeah,
And I
I
thought that
mean
was really cute.
that's a yeah big green stamp. I think
Yeah.
I between you and Biro and Tank and my Tank
Yeah. My
and
tank.
every other my original Tank
Yeah.
um every other Pisces that I've known, I feel like empathy is such a strong suit, because like even my Pisces friends who are not very, like, I have a couple of them who are actually not super emotional, like they don't
Hmm.
get emotional, kind of goes with that privacy thing, but
Yeah.
like their empathy skills top tier.
Yeah. I like I like having empathy being a trait, though it might like hurt in depending on like how much emotion you're feeling from another
Right,
person, but I like having that trait as a whole because if I didn't have that trait to be able to like put myself in someone else's shoes, I don't
right,
know how well I would be at like helping someone
yeah,
because I would only have like my own experiences to base it off of.
right,
Yeah. So I like that. It's a really cute
okay,
trait. Yeah.
yeah,
And then the
green
last
stamp.
one is everyone's cheerleader. They'll always encourage their friend and loved ones to chase their dreams and go after what they want. They're very enthusiastic at heart, even on days when they feel at their worst. They pick themselves up and look forward to brighter days because they hate to worry about things they can't control. They're super optimistic. And I thought that was
Hmm.
really cute. Because, like, I
Always
was
in your
explaining that.
corner, beesh.
Hell yeah! I always explain that to like how I view streaming, for example,
Hmm.
because I don't really like want to see myself in the spotlight and I don't really like want to like go for like partner or like become that famous face everyone
Right,
knows. I'm more okay with like being the cheerleader. I'm okay with being
yeah,
on the sidelines. I'd rather see my friends and like my people like get that like fame, get those goals rather than be the one that they're cheering me on. Like I'd rather
right.
be the optimistic one that is always in their corner.
Yeah, this is, I think that there's a really big like you guys are going to get some behind the scenes knowledge here. But I think there's a really big display with that with doing this podcast. When I invited you to do it with me, you were very adamant about like, okay, well, let's keep it on your channel. And so like I think that very much displays to me like the type of person that you are when it comes to specifically like this industry. Like you're so ready to be in people's corners for projects that even the ones that you're on, and like
Mhm.
this could also be like the art thing that we do together, you know, like
Yeah.
very much like you give credit where credit's due, and like you are so much like you're so ready to be like the person like, yeah, I'm gonna be there for you and I'm gonna help you, and but this is your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that
Cuz
about
like
you.
I'd rather be the support column for your goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I would rather like lift you up and like see you succeed. Cuz I was explaining this to Tank today when I was explaining like art and stuff cuz
Mm-hmm.
he was like you should really take credit like where credit's due. And I was talking to Klaus about this too and they're like you should be very proud of like your art. And I was like I am proud, but I'm not proud for the reason that you think.
Right.
Like, yes, and also you have said this too. Yes, my artwork has improved. I really do agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not doing the artwork for myself.
Right.
I'm doing the artwork because I like seeing people light up about the things that I did for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying like, oh yeah, please praise me, praise me. Like I want to hear about it. Like no,
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I like seeing you light up about
You
it.
like
I
being
want to
able
see
to
you excited.
provide some piece of joy to somebody
Yeah.
else. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I
And
feel
that's
like
what I really like.
that trait alone, I feel like really encapsulates you as a person. Like,
Aw.
I think this is not this term doesn't mean what you would think it literally means, but like you very much are like very much a happy virus. Like you, I feel like you infect a lot of people with joy, and
Yeah.
like you're always a source of like happiness and laughter for everybody, and it like it's very much like, I don't know, like you're just such a good pillar of support, like in
Aw.
everything, all the time. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think it, to me it looks draining, and I don't know how you do it because like I support people too, but you are like at another level.
I don't know. I just again for the Pisces side of things, like I don't really want my emotions or like what I'm dealing with to dictate someone else or like to
Hmm.
have someone worry about me.
Yeah.
But I think seeing well also one of my favorite things is like I love hearing someone laugh I
Yeah.
love to like
I
get to that
know.
like nitty grittiness of things. I want to hear that true laugh, or like
Yeah.
when there's a dead silence, there's a small chuckle, like I
Yeah.
got you type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
If I can get someone to do that, I won
I
that
know.
day alone.
Every time that you point out like the things that you like about somebody, like their laugh is always such a big thing.
It is because that
Yeah.
means like I got you to smile and express yourself in a joyous way. And also, I know a lot of people like my laugh because my laugh I've heard is really infectious.
Mhm.
So I'd rather like have me be a super like cheery person. And I'm not saying like it's draining and like I'm putting on a front. Like, I'm just really like happy to hang out with the people I love to hang out with, and they make me happy. So
Yeah.
if I can like spread that even just for a moment, it's enough for me.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah.
that's completely understandable. I also love to, I like to elicit like sap from people, and I feel like you like to elicit like laughter
Yeah.
and joy from people. And so I always think it's funny because like I relate to that so much, but with sappiness. Because like I love showing people that it's okay to like express their feelings and how they feel about other people or how they just feel in general. So
Yeah.
I get that same thing. Like I get this bubbling of excitement anytime that somebody gets sappy, especially if it's someone who's not usually like that.
I
And I feel
love
like,
that.
yeah, I feel like that translates to what you're saying about the
Oh, for
laughter.
sure. It's
Hmm.
just in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, I love to see like someone's day brighten. You love to see someone have that growth of emotional growth.
Yes,
Cause like not
exactly.
everyone's okay with saying that. Like,
Hmm.
I know every night, like me and you say I love you, Bish, and then
Hmm.
we also have been saying like I love you to the groups that we do hang out with.
Yeah.
And like I love hearing someone I don't normally hear say that,
Me
say it
too.
back.
Me too. It
And
is.
because like it's so hard for someone to say that because they're thinking, oh my god, well, I don't like love them like that, but like I
Yeah.
want to show that I love them for them. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying, oh my god, I'm in love with you, Veda, like romantically. I'm
Right.
saying I love
I mean, it's okay if you
you.
are, but
I mean, I do, but in the sense of like I love you. Like, I'm
yeah.
gesturing to all of you,
Yeah.
and I hope like you have like a good night at the end of the day. Like, it's so heartwarming hearing it back, and
Yeah.
it's so cute.
Yeah. I also I owe you an apology because so we were in the mansion
Yeah.
and you were leaving and you said let you be and then disconnected right away. And Tank goes, she gets annoyed that you don't say it when you leave, but then she leaves before you can say it back. And then I was like, she gets wait, do I not say it enough? So I will be better about that. I feel like if I leave a chat, it's always because I'm tired and so it's just out of mind.
No,
Because I
no,
stay
I
in chats
swear.
forever.
So do I. I always feel like I have to wait for a lull to be like, okay,
Okay,
I
I'm
going.
dipping.
Yeah. But no, if I say I love you and I don't hear it back, I know in my brain you said it back to me because I
Yeah,
know you love me
you gotta
and that
you
we
gotta
we
start
chilling.
doing what, so me, Devo, and Biro, we do this
Yeah,
thing where we go, okay, well, I love you, and then if it's silence we go, say it back, say it
say it
back,
back.
say it back.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Until they do
If
it.
tonight
So
we get a little like past slap happy where we're actually getting tired, I'll go love you, bees. Say it back.
yeah,
Say
you
it.
just gotta, because then it snaps to like a wheel wall. He's like, oh, love you too. Good night.
Kind of like the thing that you do with Tomo,
um,
where you say and he goes, huh?
yeah, yeah.
It'll be kind of like that. Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a
So
hundred
that was all
percent.
I had for the relationship, emotional Kai side of
Excellent.
things. But
Okay.
we do have a horoscope at the end of the day, and I was wondering if you wanted to take that on for a reading.
Sure, absolutely. Let me give you your horoscope, Cap.
Oh, I'd love to hear about it. I know I like was the one who put this in the notes, but I didn't read it to the full completion because
Oh,
I wanted to be
good.
surprised.
Okay, just read it enough to know that it would be good.
Yeah, I did. I skimmed it
Yeah.
and I was like, this looks good. Put it in.
Okay, excellent. All right. So, for all of you Pisces out there, here's your horoscope for, is this today or this week or
This is for today specifically.
Today specifically? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So day's a little over, but maybe it related.
Yeah, hopefully it impacted your day enough, even though you didn't know.
Okay, so it says Mercury and Neptune join forces in your sign, sweet Pisces, bringing a hypnotic softness to your aura. Lean into these vibes by speaking up and commanding attention, luring others into a world of your own creation. However, you'll need to balance your social exchanges with a bit of downtime when the Aquarius moon crosses Venus, taking a moment to love and encourage yourself. This energy can also bring a depth into your relationship if you lift the veil and let others in. Your popularity rises as evening sets in the moon and the moon enters your sign, though you should put your needs first before accepting social invitations.
Oh, right with that in a way.
I love that the beginning said sweet Pisces.
Yeah, it was like, you're in for a bumpy ride. I was like, wait. But it was a really good horoscope.
Yeah, it did. It set it up to be like, oh.
Oh, honey, you're in for it. And I was like, but I hope you're having a really sweet day. And you leave these emotional and social interactions, like, up to your discretion. And, like, let people in if you do so choose. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, well, now that we've gotten Pisces out of the way, I want to circle back to this word thing. Don't think I've forgotten.
Oh, damn.
I've brought up a list of descriptive words, and we're gonna go through a couple, and I need your opinions on them. Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm fascinated by this. The word doesn't sound like what the word means thing.
So before you go through your list, when you said adamant, that's a word that I don't like.
Adamant is a word?
Yeah. So
Cap.
Adamant mean like for sure?
Yeah, adamant is like insistent.
Yeah, no, adamant to me sounds like, well.
Really?
Like, yes! It kind of seems like you're teetering. Like adamant. You're like,
I'm gonna need you to start when we do these podcasts. I need you to halt them when there's a cap word.
Oh,
I need you to do
cap
it.
Word, cap
yes,
word.
I want you to go. After I'm done with a sentence or something, you need to go. So cap word. I need you to do it. I need you to.
There's a lot of these words, so we'll see.
Okay, I'm gonna. So what are we feeling about the word? I'm trying to think of one on this list that would be like
a for sure cap word.
Yeah, like a for sure. Like how about the word potent?
Potent? Doesn't that mean like for example like poison, like super strong?
Yeah, like a super strong poison or super strong content.
Yeah, so like to me when I think of the word potent, like I have a very visual side of things. So when I think of potent, I think of adding an extra drop of something.
Okay,
to the
so
word.
that one makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. How about like I should have come up with these.
No, you're good.
Beforehand. What about rashly?
Like you're doing something too rashly,
yeah,
like all of a sudden.
Like you're doing like something's being rash.
Number one, I think this word would have to depend on the situation or scenario, but being rash about something sounds hasty. Like you're doing it no thought, like you're pushing through. Again, I'm gonna have a lot of similes for these, but it's like pushing like through the bushes. Like you're just rashly just like running through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not like I'm just like I'm trying to pinpoint what kind of word. Can you give me another example of a cap word?
So I can't think of any off the dome, but I'll try and figure some out like later tonight and let you know.
Please.
But for example, the reason why these don't add up to me is the definition of the word doesn't match with my visual picture of it. So like how I keep describing like how I'm picturing the word as you're saying it, if they don't match, for example, like vivid and the definition, they don't match to me, so it's a cap word. It just doesn't compute to me.
So, is it like words like gregarious?
I don't actually know what the word gregarious means. The only thing I know that word from is from Ready Player One, because it's called Gregarious Games.
Right. What would you visually think that the word would mean? Or can you not do that off the top of your head?
So off the top of my head, because the only term that I have connected to that word is from the movie Ready
Mm-hmm.
Player One, all I think about is the video game, and that it's like a really big gaming corporation.
Okay.
Yeah,
As an
something big.
as an adjective, it like okay, so like synonyms of it would be like sociable or um like companionable. Like it's like being sociable.
Yeah, so I guess that kind of makes sense because in Ready Player One, Gregarious Games was the one who made the Oasis, like where everyone
Mm-hmm.
can like go and hang out in, like
Yeah.
in VR,
Which I
quote
think is why
unquote.
they
So that
picked the
makes sense.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Interesting. I
that
can't wait
makes
to find
sense.
more of these. I just as we go through like conversations and stuff, I can't wait to hear like cap word, cap word.
Is it weird that I have pictures for the words?
No, because some people like taste color. So, I mean,
Would you say it's like a level of synesthesia or whatever? Synesthesia?
I don't
Synes
I don't know
What is it
cuz
called?
isn't synesthesia and
Synesthesia, yeah.
isn't that like as specifically to one of your senses matching colors? Or is it
No, it can be with words too.
synesthesia?
Yeah. It can, because I've
When
heard
you
like some people are like, this one dude was explaining, he's like, oh yeah, well, like Thursday is like November.
a fancy name for when you experience one of your senses through another. So no, yeah, it would be. It would technically be like a cuz like I hear color. Like
Oh
I
yeah?
like I hear it like when I think of so you know how I have my playlist where I have it says the sunset looks differently today. Those are all
Yeah.
songs that when I hear them, I see like a sunset color palette in my head.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. That's why.
Yeah. So the reason that I separate songs the way that I do, me and Lexi actually used to have every color of the rainbow as a playlist because both of us can do it. And
Yeah.
so we would go through songs and be like, what color do you think this is? And we would like have a debate and we would split them up. So we had colored playlists for a while.
I love that. That's so
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah. So
I
um
love that.
I think realistically that is the same as you like hearing a word or seeing a word and having some sort of like mental image or something because
Yeah.
it's definitely like a more complex version of it, but I mean
Hmm.
you're using one sense through another, so
That's
it
true.
counts.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. We have to have like a cap word ding. I'm just gonna.
I know.
Oh, I'm excited now.
Yeah, I feel like we have to we got to come up with
A
like
list.
a word, like a trigger word for like oh you should just do your buddy. I can't do it because I
Bring.
can't. Yeah,
True.
yeah,
I could. I'll do. I got
I
you.
can't roll my R's.
I'm doing it with. I'll explain that after.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, we'll wrap
So,
this up.
um, as always, thank you guys so much for joining us. I know
Thank
today was a little
you.
chaotic because we're both slap happy, but
Just
I'm
a
actually,
smidge.
um,
But we do have a little bit of a teaser for the next week.
mhm.
So, you know how like you have top 10 favorites of things? Do you know that, Veda?
Yeah, actually, I love Watch Mojo's top 10
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
things.
I
Yeah.
think it also can start with ready, set. No, that's not quite right. How about
Hmm.
lights, camera,
Camera,
and remember, Cubbies, keep it real,
but
but
keep
keep
it
it curious.
curious.
We'll catch you guys
Bye
next time.
bye.
Bye.